think accelerators or incubators, and really the name is interchangeable. It depends on which organization you're talking to at any given time. But what an accelerator or an incubator provides you is ideation time, where you can go in there and refine your plan, right? It gives you some time to think. It gives you some time where there's no really risk of failure, because you're in the accelerator to, by acknowledgement, spend some time there where you can kind of take your plan, refine your product, test it, get some validation, make some early progress, right? And it really minimizes your risk. The second thing that I find it brings is it gives you access to good mentors who, more than domain expertise, will act as bouncing boards, right? For you to bounce ideas off, for you to bounce strategies off, for you to get some guidance on, will this work, given your vast experience and your past ventures and your past similar initiatives. Do you think what I'm about to embark on, do you think I have a good chance of success? That unbiased feedback, and you're not just asking a friend here, right? Or a family member, or somebody who's got a vested interest in this as a colleague maybe, or a co-founder, but you're asking somebody who's unbiased, who's hopefully just going to give you advice as it is. If they think it's going to fail, they should tell you that, right? And that's the benefit of having those mentors. And but I think the most important thing that I find accelerators and incubators can provide is really that focused time, which is it. All of these programs have a period, right, where it's either 4 weeks or 4 months, and you have to get out, right? And then they have that demo day when you're going to show yourself off to the world, and that puts a level of urgency that otherwise, as a startup, you wake up every morning and it's another day at the startup, and there's no timeline and there's no report card to be submitted, right? There's not even the annual performance review or the raise to be had or whatever. So as a startup founder, you end up meandering sometimes. Even though you may think there's urgency, there's no way to kind of have anybody evaluate it. This puts an evaluation in that process, right, for you. It also injects a sense of competitiveness, because you see other people who have been through the selection process of being picked for that accelerator, and hopefully if it's a great accelerator, you're really competing with the best, right? And so you're motivated by seeing them in action. And so it's really a self-fulfilling prophecy. That whole group comes together and they motivate each other, and each of them is taking a slightly different path, but they're all really going down the same path, which is they're trying to put together a new venture, a new enterprise, and they're taking a massive amount of risk. There's a lot of unknowns, there's no data available, and they're trying to figure it out. And so you see a lot of other like-minded people who are equally capable of doing the same thing, and that's great motivation, I think. So that, I think it's the community of like-minded people, right? That really is what an accelerator can bring to you. Finally, I think, it's things like co-founders. You might find a co-founder there. You might find new hires, because a lot of talent comes through the accelerator. The accelerator might have a lot of contacts with contractors, people you could use, design folks, various other things in terms of marketing, all of that help. They can also connect you with early potential customers, right? Where essentially you want to validate something. The accelerator has good tentacles into the industry. They have great networks. They have mentors who are part of the incubator, and they can help you go out there and maybe meet somebody who's a target customer at a very high level, or maybe even a broad level, and get some validation for your product, right? And then the accelerator, a lot of the accelerators come with shared resources, some capabilities that you don't want to necessarily hire or buy for in-house use immediately as a startup. You get access to assets, you might get access to office space, and fundamentally at the end of this, the accelerator, hopefully you've brought a product that's more refined out to market. You've got some validation, you've built up some networks, you're more fundable than you were going in. You've built up maybe some visibility with investors and with customers, and you've got some stamp of approval. You've built some credibility in the process of going through that accelerator program, right? And so all of that is what I would look for if I were going into an accelerator or an incubator, right? Look for all of those attributes. Look for an accelerator or an incubator that can do a good job in all those dimensions, right? Assess their past track record, right? How have they done? What are the companies that they've been able to graduate, and how well did those companies do? Go talk to some of those founders as you're selecting the accelerator you want to go into, right? Don't rush the decision, but all the accelerators have a deadline, and they have a program and an application date, so you've got to meet that, but at the same time understand what the outcome might look like, right? Hopefully they're not a distraction, to what you're trying to do, and hopefully they can add value with the mentors they have, right? I highly recommend accelerators and incubators because of the kind of the focusing effect they have, right? The motivational impact they have on the team, and the networking and the visibility they provide, right? Those are all very positives if you're going into a great accelerator.